morning everyone, respected teacher and all my friends. Today I am standing here to give short presentation about minimizing potential hazard of materials and finishes for buildings. First of all, materials are brick, timber, sand, cement that we are using in the construction, and the finishes are plastering, painting, burnishing, flooring, white color are the finishes that used to coat the disclosed surface, and that also increase the material's lifespan. It is crucial to select the material to construct a building well functionally. A perfect design of the building is achievable when we use qualitative materials. Quality of the construction depends upon material utilization. The materials chosen state the building's durability, endurance, and characters of the buildings. Analyzing its material durability, stability, characteristics, and cost is an efficient way to select qualitative materials according to our specification. As we know that we use different types of materials, and every materials have different chemical composition. So some might be hazardous and some might not be hazardous. Like consequently, to construct a building, appropriate material selection helps in efficient using materials, decreasing environmental impact, and minimizing the waste generated, which tends to cost effectiveness, carbon footprints, ultimately comfort of the buildings, and energy efficiency. Cost, climate, durability, availability, sustainability, aesthetic appeals, maintenance are the factors that affect while selecting the materials. The common hazard materials and finishes are like some sources of common hazardous materials are lead, asbestos, mercury, mold, polychlorinated biphenyls, and silicates. In my presentation, I am focusing about the lead and asbestos. So why lead is hazardous? Lead is absorbed in our body by inhalations when breathing, the fume, mist, and lungs and upper respiratory system tract absorb it into the body, and then it damages our central nervous system, cardiovascular system, reproductive system, and hematological system, and as well as kidneys. And high absorption of the lead also causes toxicity. Lead is still in use in New Zealand. Even the lead-based paint is coated by the modern paint. The little presence of the lead is still present in the old houses. As well as today, only special purpose paint contains leads, and that are clearly labeled. As well as per one study, any roof paint containing more than 0.1% lead or lead compounds and 0.2% lead or lead compounds in zinc-based paint is not allowed under the Hazardous Substances and New Organism Act 1996 legislation, regardless of whether it is run off or not. And then minimizing the potential hazard from lead, we have to repair damaged painted surface and plant grass to cover soil with high lead levels. It is not a permanent solution. We have to take care about, and we have to take attention about those things, because it is mostly available in the old houses. If you are living in the old houses, you have to ensure that the repainted of the surface if it gets damaged, as well as to remove permanently covered surfaces paint with lead-based paint by using paneling, plywood, fabrics, or other coverings that block access of the lead-based paint. Remove paint from surfaces by wet scraping, stripping, or sanding with an HPEA. It is a air filter which removes the dust. About 99.97% it removes dust. So, Health and Safety in Employment Act 1992, Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment, Health Act 1956, Hazardous Substance and New Organism Act 1996 are dealing with to minimize and control the safety in construction to minimize the effect of the leak. As well as asbestos. Asbestos is also exposed by the breathing, and it causes asbestosis, cancer and mesothelioma. The symptoms of the asbestosis is difficulties in breathing. So asbestosis used in New Zealand. In the late 1930s and peaked in 1974, more than 12,000 tons of asbestosis are imported in New Zealand. After that, the import is declined rapidly. Around 1960, the predominant asbestos used in buildings and most other industrialized countries was chrysotile. Because comparing to other brown and blue asbestosis, chrysotiles are little bit less harmful. And the use of asbestosis per capita per year was lower until the 1970s and 1980s than in other industrialized countries. All forms of asbestos are regarded as unapproved hazardous substance under the Hazardous Substance and New Organism Act 1996, but are not strictly banned. So this is the data which clearly shows that the number of cases where people affected by the asbestosis. In 2005, you can see that it peaked, and more than 100 people are affected by the asbestosis. And most of them are plumbers, fitters, laggers according to the asbestosis disease register. And minimizing the potential hazard from asbestos. There have been many calls from worldwide to ban the asbestosis. WHO and ILO set out an outline of development of national programs for the elimination of asbestos-related diseases. New Zealand Customs Services manage the prohibition of imported substances that do not have approval. Also, work with all forms of asbestos have been prohibited since 31st December 2003 with limited expectation. Well, if you are using asbestos in workplace, you have to ensure that there is the proper ventilation, and the workers use the personal protective equipments. As you know that there are two types of personal protective equipments. The people use personal protective equipments. It's like you cannot get that PPE in your house. You have to wear it in the side, and you have to clear it properly, and you have to ensure that you clean your hands and double bag and it dispose properly. And also you have to hire the contractor who have the good knowledge about asbestosis. Safety at Work Regulation 2016, a person conducting business or undertaking health and safety at work. Act 2015, WorkSafe National Asbestosis Registers. Custom import prohibition under 1984 are dealing with the asbestosis related diseases, and they are minimizing as per the regulation, and they ensure that the labor gets safe as well as the other person who directly or indirectly contact with the asbestosis. The step of assessing materials hazard are first to identify the hazard. You have to identify the materials and chemicals that you are using in the site, and then you have to assess the risks that how much it harmful to the laborers and other people. After that, you have to control that risks, and you have to record the findings. If the worker is more than 5, must record significant findings of hazards who may be harmed, how and how much. How to control. Review the controls. Be sure your work is going as planned and the risk is controlled. Check staff and equipment used every time. To conclude, lead and asbestos are the very harmful components that we are using in construction. Some portion is banned. The import of the asbestos and lead is completely banned, but some portions are still in use. New Zealand government is trying to remove the hazardous substances used in construction, and they are trying to minimize as much as they can. And if any danger of lead and asbestos is identified, then we must inform the health protection officer at the local public health service who deals with handling the hazardous substance. These are my references.
materials similar to asbestos and the lead. What is the procedure to get it like done, get it out of the way from the construction? So because they have to be very very seriously disposed of. Yeah. So is there any act or something which take care of those kind of stuff?
Like the Health and Organism HSNO Act is dealing with the hazardous materials like that, and they ensure that the dispose. Like if you have to dispose, you have to call the. I already mentioned that you have to call if any found in Health Protection Office. You have to call at the local public health service who deals with handling the hazardous substance, and they comes and they inspect, because the lead and asbestos are like, they don't have odor, we can easily we can easily know that is that asbestos or lead. So there is the specific test to understand is there is lead or asbestos used in the construction or in some pens or some room. So if we suspect that if there is the lead and asbestos, we have to call the local public health service, and they deals with the hazardous substance.
So thank you. Thank you so much. I think we can stop.